Hello everyone, welcome to Kambel Masterclass. My name is Moses Katamani. We are having this training program, and this video is the fifth video in the series, and this one is about effects of toxic school culture on the progress of a school. The previous discussion was about the characteristics of toxic school culture, and we said it is also known as negative school culture. In that discussion, we identified that in a toxic school culture, there is no sense of purpose, the system is hostile, there is so much issue of people thinking more about themselves than the purpose of the school system and the vision or the dreams and aspirations of the pupils and students. We continue and we finalize the discussion on the issue of absence of risk taken. So in a toxic school culture or a negative school culture, there is no sense of purpose, and that people are not ready to take risks, and people only think about how to protect themselves within or maintain themselves in the system. Now, so if toxic school culture is negative, it doesn't promote the purpose of the school system, it doesn't help the pupils and students with their aspirations, then the question is, what are the effects of toxic school culture on the school's progress or even the learners? So the first issue to look at is that one, in this school culture, in the negative school culture, staff are afraid or are unwilling to offer suggestions or new ideas for fear of being attacked or criticized. So the one effect is that people have idea to contribute to the development of the school, to contribute to the teaching and learning process or any other issue that pertain to the school's development or progress. But people will not be ready to contribute for fear of that they will be attacked or they will be criticized. So that is one effect of toxic school culture or a negative school culture. To buttress this point, we must know that policies are there, decisions are there to take, ideas are there in the minds of people. However, if these people are not willing to contribute to the development of the school, then it affects the school's development and also the dreams and aspirations of the pupils and students who are trained in the school. The next point about the effect of toxic school culture is the fact that plans for school improvement are often held half-hearted due to the negativity and sense of hopelessness within the system. That if people are not willing to support the system and there are decisions to improve the system, what happens is that people will lay back. Some people want, those who are the main people, for example, management should do it, let's see. People are not willing to contribute their idea because, like we said already, for fear of victimization. And you will see that every plan that is put in place, people will not be ready to support it. And if people are not ready to support the system, the school system will not work. And if it will not work well, or the plans are not effectively implemented or executed, what happens is that the system will not work, improvement plans and whatever will not work. It will become like anybody, whatever decision concerns, everybody will want that person to do it, and there will not be enough support. So that becomes an effect on the school system and the progress of the school. Another issue is that in a toxic school culture, the effect is that new staff most of the time are socialized into cliques, new staff members. What happens is that new staff who bring hope and sense of possibility into the system, they are more or less discouraged and called names. And if people are called names, they are discouraged, they are like in our context in Africa or in Ghana, Nigeria, people will say you are too known. A new person who is so active, willing to support the system, may even be socialized into what? The backbenchers, whereby they will sit down and want to see what happened. So new people may come into the toxic school culture. Some people may be willing to affect the system, but because of name calling and discouragement, those people will no longer be active, and their ideas they will not want to come out with the ideas again to affect the system positively. So that is another effect of a toxic or a negative school culture on the system. Another point is that in a toxic school culture, programs are planned and poorly executed or implemented because there is no much motivation within the system. In a toxic school culture, as we said, there is so much disintegration within the system. There's no collaboration within the system. What happens is that plans, like I said, related to the other point, plans are not executed effectively, and everything that is done is all done because it must be done, and there is no enough motivation, there's no much inspiration for the workers, the staff, or even the students to work in the system, because everybody will be saying whatever you do, you will not be appreciated. As we said earlier, the negative characteristics, you will not be appreciated. So if you will not be appreciated, what is the motivation? Some people's motivation come from inside, some people's motivation come from outside. They are being encouraged to do something, and that if they are ready to do it, what happens is that it affects the system positively. But if they are not willing, if there's no motivation coming from anywhere, it can also demoralize the person who will be willing, and also will not be willing to do whatever is supposed to be done. Then the execution of the plans or the programs of the school will not work effectively. Even if it is being done, it will be haphazardly done because the people don't have motivation for whatever they are supposed to do. Now, the fifth point I want to discuss is the fact that New ideas and plans to lift up the school fail for lack of will and support. Lack of will and support. Let me give an example concerning the first. Let me explain it. Lack of will and support is because when the people are not supported, when the people know that they will not be recognized for whatever they are doing, they may not be able to do it effectively. And what happens is that the idea will come. Sometimes the idea is shared with a few people to see how it can be implemented, but some people will shut the idea down. An example, I worked with a school, and the complaint is that the structures are not working, and there's a need to put a management plan and management structure in place for the system to work. There was discussions along and amongst management. I try as much as possible to get to everybody to get the ideas to implement or to put in place a structure for the school. However, what happens is that the top hierarchy seems not interested in the plan to write a management plan, a school management plan for the school, whereby the structures will be put in place, responsibilities will be assigned or defined for the system to work. Sometimes the problem is that, especially when you get to the private school system, some ideas, when it comes, there's a need for financial support, and some of the school leaders or the school owners may not be willing to support it. The idea is that some of them, we will do it, but they are not willing to do it because they are not ready to financially support it. For example, like what I'm talking about, school management plan development is not an easy thing. The structures needs to be put in place for the system to work. But if the school management or the owners, in the case of private school, are not ready to support it, it will not work. And that this is an effect of what? A toxic or a negative school culture. Another thing I want to say is that if, like this one, I'm trying to focus on private school. If the private school owner is not willing for the system to change, the system will not change. And the result you want to get, you will not get it. Why? Because at the end, there must be a support, there must be an encouragement for the plan to work. So if those are the realms of affair who are supposed to motivate or encourage what is supposed to be done, and they are not willing, it will not work. That is an effect of a negative school culture. Another example I can give about this before we continue is the fact that in public school, the plans are there. Teachers or the staff are willing to implement some of these plans, but they need logistics. Logistics are supposed to be provided by either Ministry of Education or Commission of Education, whether in a federal or a state system, as in the example of Nigeria. If these facilities or logistics, I will say, teaching and learning materials or any other thing that is needed for the school system to work smoothly is not provided, it will affect the system. It will affect the effectiveness of the staff, and there will not be quality teaching and learning. Why? Because these teaching and learning materials or logistics are not forthcoming. And I would want to say that this is one of the challenges of public schools in Africa. from some of my research, in fact, some countries of Africa are doing very well. They are trying as much as possible to promote education. An example is Egypt. An example is South Africa. However, some other schools are suffering, public schools are suffering. The cultural system is not working effectively because government is not willing to support, or governments politicized the system. And that in some public school, there is a toxic school culture, and the effect is that there is not effective teaching and learning within the system, and that people are not motivated, teachers are demoralized, and those who are working is because they understand what teaching is about, and it's their passion. That is why they are pushing for some of the schools to work effectively. Moving forward, my last point concerning the effect of toxic school culture is that most staff have laissez-faire attitude, and most of them are not ready to follow simple instructions by school management. In a toxic school culture, it's like I said earlier, everybody is trying to look at things from his or her own angle. Not only that, whatever will work for them to maintain themselves, they are looking at only their daily bread or remunerations, and everybody will want to live for him or herself. In that case, the attitude or the system becomes laissez-faire. Laissez-faire in a way that there is no order, there is no directive, and as there is no directive, nobody focuses on the pupils and students. And some staff don't take instructions because they know whatever they are doing, there will not be they are not going to be recognized, and if they are not going to be recognized, then why would they try to push and do something? At the end, they will not get a good result. So in a toxic school culture, the effect on the system is not worth it. In other words, the effect is poor, and the effect on the pupils and students is that many of them suffer. Their academic and their goals, educational goals and aspirations suffer because the system is not working. And one other thing that I must say is that in a laissez-faire or a toxic school cultural system, what happens is that the school find it difficult to maintain quality staff, that is teaching and non-teaching staff. The school find it difficult to get quality teachers, or when they get quality teachers, they lose it or they lost it to other schools or other institutions because the system is not serving them well. If the system will not serve them well, then they will look for other places that they will have their comfort and be able to work well. So these are some of the effects of toxic school culture on not only the system, and it will also affect the pupils and students. And like I said earlier already, many academic performance in a toxic school culture is very, very poor. Finally, in a toxic school culture system, no one wants to work in this kind of environment. I must say that the definition and discussion I've done, many schools have not gone to that higher level. Some are in the middle way. Things are they are in the balance. So the toxic school culture, like I said, and the discussions, those are the extreme. And if that is the extreme, then if there's a school that you are teaching in or you are working in is suffering some of these things, the question is, what do we do about it? What do we do about the toxic school culture, and how do we make sure that we reposition that school to have a positive school culture which will inure not only to the benefit of the pupils and students, but also to the workers, that the staff, the teaching and non-teaching staff. When there is a problem, we need to find solution to it to get a good result. And that, discussing toxic school culture and its effects, we have to look at how we can improve a system which is bad. In other words, a negative school cultural system, how do we look at it? And that is going to be our next topic for discussion. And the next discussion will be proving ways to build a positive school culture. I hope you continue, and as you get the material also, you read more about this, and I've given some references, and those references can help everybody to position yourself to support the system if you are just a teacher, or for management members to identify some of these challenges that we have identified in our discussions and how to deal with them. Therefore, meet me at the next lesson for this discussion of proving ways to build a positive school culture. Thank you.